sports. It's another end to the week. My voice is killing me, which means another set of Premier League predictions. Game week 26. Let's get into it. There are no early kickoffs this week, so we've got straight into the 3 o'clock blackout games. Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. Both teams got a win on last weekend. Aston Villa got an away win against Fulham. Ollie Watkins was on fire, and they've got their mojo back, hopefully, going back home to Villa Park. Whereas Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, both teams, by the way, that predicted to win, and they did win. Nottingham Forest with a big win, 2-0 win over West Ham. And how detrimental is Taiwo Awoniyi to that Nottingham Forest side? They missed him dearly, and now he's back. They look like they've got someone that can put the goals in. They don't just have to rely on players like Morgan Gibbs-White. However, Aston Villa at home is a very tough place to go. Villa Park is a very tough place. And so for me, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Aston Villa win. I think Aston Villa just have too much for Nottingham Forest today. But Taiwo Awoniyi could turn it around. You never know. That man is dangerous. On to the next game. Brighton host my Everton. Brighton obviously battered Sheffield United away from home. That Mason Holgate challenge was disastrous, and obviously the racial abuse that he's been receiving isn't justified. And I hope that he's fine, because mentally that obviously can mess you up. I can't say from experience, obviously, but yeah, it was a very bad challenge, and it led to basically the downfall of Sheffield United, and Brighton just ran through them. Everton, on the other hand, were terrible against Crystal Palace. Somehow got a point through Amadou Onana, and I can only see this going one way, and it is with my weekend being ruined again, yet again, by Everton, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 Brighton win. I just don't see where we're going to get any goals, and yeah, pretty much 2-0 Brighton. On to the next game. Crystal Palace host Burnley. Now, Crystal Palace, to their own accord, played somewhat very well, considering no Elise, no Eze against Everton. And obviously with a new gaffer coming in Oliver Glasner, they've got a bit of a fight, a bit of a manager bounce. So for me, I'm going to have to go for a simple prediction for Palace home win, but not just yet. I'm not going to give the score just yet. I think Burnley are very stubborn. They don't learn from their mistakes. If they play the way they play against, if they had the way they play the way they play in the Championship against Prem teams, they're going to get found out. So maybe they'll change the way they play. I don't think so, anyways. So for me, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Crystal Palace win. On to the next game, and it is Manchester United versus Fulham. Now, in the reverse fixture, Manchester United got a late winner from Bruno Fernandes. In terms of last games, Manchester United edged past Luton because they didn't take their chances, and Fulham obviously lost at home to Aston Villa. But Man United have been on a good run of form. Rasmus Højlund, that man can't stop scoring. I think he's scored in 6 consecutive games. He's like one of the youngest player to ever do it. So he's a problem for other opposition teams' defences. And I am going to go for a 2. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Manchester United home win. I think they keep a clean sheet this time. And yeah, Fulham just going to have to hold that one. Old Trafford is very tough. You can see you're done. Their record is ridiculous when they scored first. So yeah, 2-0 Manchester United. And then we finally go on to the television games. Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Now, Bournemouth got a big point that I didn't expect them to get away from home at St James's Park, a 2-2 draw. They honestly should have won the game. If it wasn't for Matt Ritchie getting a late equaliser. Prayers up for me because I had Solanke on my bench and he got like 12 points. And I had Cole Palmer starting, who got 2 points against Manchester City. And at Man City were held to a 1-1 draw by Chelsea and arguably should have lost the game. I think Chelsea played very well and neutralised Manchester City. Obviously, Man City had a game during the week against Brentford to play their game in hand, and again they were neutralised up until one mistake from Nathan Collins slipping. And obviously, if you let Haaland in one-on-one, 95% of the time he is going to score. So yeah, for me, so Bournemouth, it's away for City, but I still think City win. I'm going to say 3-0 this time. I think Manchester City start scoring some goals again. 3-0 Manchester City. And then we've got a late kick-off game. First time we've had that in a while. I'm going to be doing a watch-along for it, as voted by the Instagram followers. Obviously, if you watched the watch-along on Monday, I need to get into a little bit of a flow of things, but I found it entertaining. First of all, I need to find actually a chair because I can't sit like this for 2 hours watching a game because my back will be done out. But yeah, obviously Newcastle dropped points to Bournemouth, and I don't know, with Newcastle it's very up and down this season. There's a lot of consistency. Arsenal, on the other hand, in England have been rampant battering teams left, right and centre. But in Europe, they fell short on Wednesday. Porto got the better of them, low block, and it just neutralised Arsenal. And then obviously they won in the very last minute with a goal from Galeno. But Arsenal will want to redeem themselves. They want to get their vengeance. Obviously, in the reverse game, Newcastle beat Arsenal. It's Arsenal's first loss, and I think it's their only loss except for Fulham. One of two losses that they've suffered this season. So, for me, I'm gonna just edge Arsenal winning 2-1. I think it should be a very entertaining game. It usually is. But yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Then we go to Sunday's solitary game in Wolves versus Sheffield United, and obviously Sheffield United, for me, are the certain team to go down. Them and Burnley are the two teams that are definitely going down. Despite Wilder coming in, there's been no manager bounces. They won that game against Luton. They haven't beaten anyone that is considered decent. Obviously, bringing in Mason Holgate was the worst decision ever. In terms of player, as a person, he shouldn't be getting disrespected for his colour, his race. But Wolves, on the other hand, got a big win away from home in North London at Tottenham. Pedro Neto, Jean Grange, these players, they are due a move. And let's just take a moment and appreciate what a job Gary O'Neill's done. He came in like day before the season started. Wolves, a lot of people, even me, I predicted Wolves finish very low in the table, and they've just surprised everyone. And if it wasn't for VAR getting decisions wrong, they would be higher up the table. That being said, I'm going to go with a Wolves 2-0 win. And then we go to Monday's game, which is West Ham versus Brentford. Now, West Ham, there's a lot of debate on whether they stick with David Moyes, whether they try and find someone new, someone different before they start their Europa League campaign. For me, I think you stick out with Moyes for the rest of the season, and then if it doesn't improve, you change manager. There's no point of bringing in a new manager right now unless you're in a relegation scrap, which they're not. Brentford, on the other hand, they've had a tough run of fixtures. Let's be real. Brentford, they played Liverpool, Spurs, Man City. I don't think that's in a row, but they played Wolves in between, and they won that game. So I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw because I don't see West Ham losing at home again. And if they do, then it's going to look bad for Moyes after what the comment he made about there might be managers that might make them feel a bit more happy, but you've got a manager that's won something like that. It was a cold statement, I don't remember it, but yeah, for me, 1-1. And that is the end of the Premier League predictions. We'll be doing a separate video tomorrow for the League Cup final, a full video on it, comparing form, expected 11s, all of that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you haven't watched my TikTok, I'm going to be doing a giveaway as long as we hit 200 followers on TikTok, 40 subscribers on YouTube, and 75 followers on Instagram. So follow those socials, and then we will reveal the next step for the giveaway. But yeah, take care, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.